What's up everyone, I'm Twisted. In the past couple days, I've been enjoying 2xKO's Alpha Lab, and I've noticed a lot of cool and interesting details, and in this video I wanna go over all of them. Before looking inside the game itself, let's look at its executable file. As you can see, the file is called Lion. This was obviously another name for Project L while in development. Now we know that L stands for Lion. Most of the alpha files still use the term Lion, and there's even some lion heads amongst them. This is nothing new for Riot, as for example, Legends of Runeterra was called Bacon, and the newest game mode in League, Swarm, was called Strawberry. Alright, let's actually get in the game and check out the champions. A lot of their moves are obviously inspired by their abilities in League, so I won't go over all of them. I'll still mention some, and I also want to show moves like Tag and Parry, because I feel like these are harder to notice during fights. But before getting into that, let's check out the chromas. Alternate colors in 2xKO are called chromas, the same term used in League. In the alpha so far, all champions have 10 chromas for their default appearance, and all of them also have the same colors, with the exception of the last one, which sports a unique color scheme for each champion. The chromas are as follows: default colors, followed by blue, green, yellow, purple, orange, pink, teal, black, and then the unique one. The only exception is Yasuo's second chroma, which is red, unlike the other champions blue, because his default color is already pretty blue. Also, here are the chromas for the two skins available, Dynasty Ahri and Bladesong Yasuo, the latter being an exclusive skin made for this game. It was also confirmed that this skin is from the Rift Quest universe. In this game, all models are mirrored, so details like Darius' scar or Braum's tattoos and shoulder pad switch sides. And here are all the tag animations.
Time. You're right. Change is good. No. Good. Say. Forward.
Let's go.
Advance. To you.
Ooh, fun.
Got it.
Going over each individual champion now, like most of the designs in this game, Ahri's doesn't fully match the one she has in League nor in any other game, but it does pull elements from various ones. A new addition to her outfit are these rings she has on her right wrist and left ankle, and this new choker. As far as I'm aware, these are not present in any other game. Ahri's purple chroma might be a reference to Be Janet from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters, while her teal chroma might be a reference to Morrigan from Darkstalkers. Ahri is the only champion that interacts with another champion, having a unique intro quote when fighting alongside Ekko.
Hello, time child. Ready to make some magic?
Time to throw down. Yeah. Time to throw down. Yeah.
Hello, time child. Ready to make some magic? Ready!
Her iconic charm ability from League is referenced in some of her animations, but in her moves it's actually only present in her ultimate, literally titled Charm. Here's all the champions' reactions to her ultimate.
Don't look away. Give me your heart! 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 Don't look away. Give me your heart!
Here's her parry. Ahri seems to be the only champion with an animation for the transition between crouch and standing. This is rare to see in this game, as animations instead just snap from one to another or have like one or two in between frames, while Ahri's clearly has more than that. Ahri also seems to be more expressive when crouch blocking than other champions. Now her throws.
Over here. This way. Toss. Toss.
This one references her charm powers. Here are Ahri's win and lose animations following a timeout.
Time's up. Ready.
Again we see another charm reference. Keep in mind that the winning animations are also played when the champion wins a round that isn't the final one. And here are Ahri's taunts. You might realize that most taunts in the game are still missing sound effects and voiceover, which is not surprising since this is still an alpha. Two of her taunts are reused timeout animations. All champions reuse at least one timeout animation as a taunt. I'm not sure if this is intentional or just the devs being resourceful while the game is still in alpha. Finally, the announcer has a unique quote for each champion when they win, so here's Ahri's.
Best tireless warrior. Ahri wins.
Moving over to Braum, his design is pretty faithful to the others we've seen, but there are some minor differences. Notably, the design of the ram on his belt was changed, and he's not wearing any armor at all besides on his knees and feet. Like most recent versions of Braum, he doesn't have his necklace from League or Wild Rift. His blue chroma might be a reference to Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist. Braum gets two references to Legends of Runeterra in his moves. The first is in his move Fight Mighty One, where he summons Longhorn, the mighty Poro, for a command grab. The second one comes in the form of his ultimate, Snacks Time. Braum throws 3 Poro snacks at the enemy before a fluff of Poros appears. Here are all the champions' reactions to Braum's ultimate.
It's that time! Good friend! 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 It's that time! Good friend!
His move Concussive Blow is named after his passive in League, but the animation is based on his auto attacks when his E ability is active. His Down Heavy is a reference to one of his jokes in League, and his 2-step move is a reference to his dance in League. Winter's Ride has Braum surfing on his shield, something we've seen him do in the Raid cinematic and in Song of Nunu. Here is his parry, and here is his crouch. The camera shakes when he crouches, by the way. Here are his throws. The headbutt being a reference to one of his auto attacks in League. Here we can see his timeout animations.
Time's up. Ready.
Sometimes there's a bug and the Poro doesn't show up in this one, and here are his taunts. Only one of them reuses a timeout animation. Here's his win code.
Unstoppable. soul. Braum wins.
Moving over to Darius, has only gotten a small update to his armor and proportions. In fact, the biggest change in his design is actually in his hairstyle, since it's now much shorter on the sides. I couldn't find any references in his chromas, but I did notice that none of them match the ones he has in League. I also didn't find anything interesting in his moves, so let's move on to his animations. Parry, crouch, throws, timeout animations,
Time's up. Ready.
taunts, one of them reuses a timeout animation, and finally his win quote.
They got the X. Darius wins.
Ekko probably got the biggest redesign in the game. He sports an original outfit based on both League and Arcane. Notably missing are his goggles from League and his brown apron. His hairstyle is based on the Arcane version, the skull on his knee pad was moved to his glove, and he now has drawings of hourglasses on him like in Arcane. His Z-Drive got a complete makeover, looking even more like an hourglass now, but the device on his right hand is still quite similar to the one he has in League. The color of his powers is now this green and pink combo instead of his classic blue. We've seen these colors before in various artworks and videos promoting the Arcane event of 2021. Ekko's heavy attacks can hit his own Time Winder, and they can also hit an opponent's Time Winder as well. Ekko's ultimate is called Attempt 37, a reference to Moment 37 from 2004's EVO. His ultimate is quite unique since if you get hit during it, you get this fun animation of Ekko rewinding and then the move resumes as normal, likely a reference to Ekko's cinematic Seconds.
Second chance.
Here's his parry and crouch. And here are his throws. His timeout animations.
Time's up. Ready. Let's go.
Now his taunts, one of them reuses a timeout animation.
Wasting my time. Didn't expect to say this, but you're alright.
In this one, he pulls out his stopwatch from Arcane.
Let's try that again. Not your best performance. Trust me.
And here's his win quote.
Genius plays. Ekko wins.
And now Illaoi. She got a small redesign, including new clothes and slightly less armor on her arms. She also has ropes around her knees. Illaoi's ultimate features the goddess, Nagake Boros. This is the first time we're seeing the goddess herself and not just her tentacles or an avatar of her. And I like how we don't get to see her full appearance here, just her eyes. Illaoi pulls the champion spirit out of their body. Notice how it quickly returns at the end. Here's her parry, crouch, throws,
Keep moving.
timeout animations,
Time's up.
her taunts, One reuses a timeout animation, and this one is based on her dance in League. She puts the idol down and dances with the tentacles, except the dance itself is different. And here's her win quote.
Indomitable! Illaoi wins!
And finally Yasuo. His design didn't change much, but he's sporting a smaller armor piece on his left arm, not as small as in the Ruined King, but definitely smaller than in the other games. The cloth around his neck and shoulders doesn't have the pattern, and it's instead one flat color. His flask is now a proper flask and not a piece of bamboo. I believe this is the first game where he has a stick on his mouth, and his facial hair being longer on the sides and very short on the front seems to take inspiration from the Ruined King design. Yasuo's last chroma is based on either Akuma or Evil Ryu. Their color scheme is the same, so it could go either way. This one even changes the color of his eyes. Some of Yasuo's moves seem to be based on moves from the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Someone out there can probably make a better comparison than me, but here are a few examples I spotted. Yasuo's iconic flute is unfortunately absent from the game, but we can still hear it at the end of his ultimate.
Face the wind. Feel its fight.
And now here's his parry, crouch, throws, timeout animations,
Time's up! Ready!
taunts, one of them reuses a timeout animation. This one has him drinking like his taunt in League. And this one is similar to his death animation in League. And here's his win quote.
Unforgivable skill! Yasuo wins!
If you are enjoying this video so far, consider subscribing, thank you. Before jumping to the stages, let's talk about the lobby. In 2XKO, the lobby is called Last Hit, referencing the term used in League in a similar way to that of Riot's fictional bands. As you can see, this is based on real-life arcades. We can spot various Jinx graffitis, including clouds, smiles, a monkey and the Eye of Zon. We can also spot a heart with the number 37, another reference to Moment 37, and on the right there's a shop with Ekko's bat on it. I assume when the game eventually comes out, we'll be able to purchase and change cosmetics here. There's also a private version of the lobby. In it, we can find some generic game consoles and a quarter circle forward motion on a neon sign, which is funny because this game lacks that sort of inputs. And now let's move on to stages. On the select screen, you can see their names scrolling right here. Not much of a detail, but I'm sure there's at least one person out there that didn't notice. Starting off with the Brazen Hydra. This is a tavern in Bilgewater, not one we've seen in the Ruined King game, but definitely inspired by those from that game. At some point during development, this might have been called Bilgewater Tavern or just Tavern, following the game files and posts from artists. This stage features a bunch of cool details, so let's quickly go over all of them. On the floor we can spot the Bilgewater crest. Like most buildings in Bilgewater, the tavern is made out of both parts. We can spot masts, one of them with a mermaid, as well as anchors and cannons. We can also spot sea monster imagery everywhere, including a Buru statue. Through the tavern we can find these spherical lamps, they're also in the Rune King game. We can also spot some cards whose design might be based on the Bilgewater card back from Illaoi, and Golden Krakens, one of Bilgewater's coins. On the bar we can spot an eel inside a lamp and a pistol similar to the Collector from League. We can also spot barrels, which according to the files come from Naxos, Demacia and Ionia. The bottles and vases are also from various regions. These ones, for example, are clearly Demacian and Noxian. On the right we can see wanted posters for Tamkench, Sea Hunter, Aatrox and Gangplank, both classic and the Betrayer. The tavern also has some oranges, obviously referencing Gangplank as well. On the right, by using a throw, we can also spot the Scuttle Crab on a plate. The cannons on the left have the names of the Cannon brothers. Tom Cannon is the executive producer on 2XKO and Tony Cannon is the technical lead on 2XKO. They are absolute legends in the fighting game community, being the ones behind EVO and GGPO. They founded Radiant Entertainment, which was acquired by Riot in 2016 and eventually led to the creation of 2XKO. This stage has a bunch of NPCs and the developers have named most of them. First we have this trio, Francis, Henry and Anne. They get pretty excited when champions fight near them. Up there is Sao. On the bar we can spot Sally and Mary, members of Fortune's crew. We can even spot her crest on their weapons. They get a bit worried when champions fight near them. The barmaid doesn't have a name, she might be from the same species as the other fish people we've seen before. The bartender also doesn't have a name. When champions fight near him, he runs to pick up a falling vase. Then we have another fish person, an unnamed chef alongside Charles. On the left we got yet another fish person, this time an unnamed sharkman alongside two Yordles, Jim playing the piano and John on top of it. And finally there's this crab called Keg Crab, who runs around the right side of the stage and occasionally hides inside the barrel. Going back to the piano, you might notice it has tentacles for feet, but something you probably will never notice because it's just so hard to see, it's the design of its lid. You can knock it over in the game, but it's better if I pull up the texture from the files. Here we can spot the Jawfish from Pike's story and from his cards in Illaoi. Next we have the Bridge of Progress, the first stage we've ever seen for the game. This used to be called Piltover Bridge. The stage is clearly inspired by Arcane, the iconic bridge from the show can be seen on the right, and a bunch of buildings are straight out of the show as well. We can see various boats and a blimp in the background. There are a couple of NPCs here. These guys seem to have stolen a safe from Jace. Notice his hammer crest on the safe itself and on the bags. This big one likes to laugh when champions get hit. On the left we can spot a Wump. The species was first seen in Illaoi. They also react to the fight. Knocking an opponent near these fish barrels causes one of them to fall, revealing a device with an X-Tech gem inside. The container might be based on the one seen in True Genius, but could also be based on the one from Arcane. Around the stage we can spot Jinx's graffitis, including laughs, her name, a drawing of her, which we've seen before in Illaoi for example, and an Arcane Warden. We can also spot a wanted poster for Jinx, and this poster which is likely referencing one of Riot's artists. On the right there's a guy cleaning the graffitis off of the Piltover crest. Fighting near him causes him to panic and flee. The bottles use a made-up alphabet, but it seems that during development their label was more legible, as we can see normal letters on some of the screenshots artists published online. The older version had a different color scheme, and you can also spot some wardens which are absent from the current version. Scuttle Strand is probably the most simple stage out of the 4 available. In the files it's called Buru Beach, and from the various sea monster statues and tentacles and their design, it's pretty obviously inspired by Buru culture. The steel and white color scheme can be seen in other depictions of the culture, such as in Illaoi and in concept art. The actual name of the stage likely comes from the Scuttle Crabs from League. Unfortunately there's no actual sea monsters to be seen anywhere. What we can see are these serpent colors in the background, and I believe this is their first appearance outside of this piece of concept art. Serpent colors are used used to summon or to drive away sea creatures. On the right we can see a storm brewing. I've seen people saying it could be the Black Mist, but I'm not sure if that's the case. It's definitely reminiscent of this artwork from Illaoi, but here the clouds clearly have that dark green from the mist, unlike in the stage. This stage definitely feels pretty empty, so I wonder if it's still not finished. And finally, the Spirit Hills. A writer has confirmed that the stage takes place in Ahri, and according to the files, this takes place in the village of Illaoi. Right off the bat, we can spot a cloud drinker flying by, first seen in Illaoi. There's also other animals present on the stage, like deers and squirrels, but they are original creations for the game, though the color scheme of these squirrels could be based on ones we've seen before. In the background we can spot various houses with designs consistent with other buildings we've seen from Ionia. On the left of the stage we can find the Zen Master. Concept art for this character depicted him with clothes and a color scheme similar to Yasuo's, so it's possible that he's from the same school that Yasuo and Yone went to. It could explain how he's floating, maybe he's using wind magic. We do see various visual effects for the wind in the stage after all. Around him and throughout the stage are various blue spirits. This stage shares some visual elements with the Temple of Lily and Lotus, the map of Nexus Blitz. On both maps we can find statues of foxes and frogs. The fox statues, as well as the fox present in the stage, are based on the Ionian myth of the Gatekeeper. This is also why the fox resembles Spirit Blossom Ahri's fox form, because that skin is also based on the Gatekeeper myth. The fox runs away if you fight near it. The frog statues can be found both off-screen on the right and on the left. According to the loading tips on the Nexus Blitz map, frogs are a venerated symbol in Ionia. Far away behind some clouds we can see a village with a golden tree, reinforcing the connections to Illaoi and the Spirit Blossom Festival. Next to the house we can spot the remnants of a titan, first seen in the book Realms of Runeterra and later in the Z comic, in the Yone cinematic and in Illaoi. These were beings that invaded Ionia but were defeated by the Vastaya Sharae a long time ago. We don't know if these are statues or the actual corpses of the titans. To the left we can see the titan's sword and their hand. These right here are the titan's fingers. Here's some concept art for it. We can really get an idea of how big the titans were. And to end this video, one of the artists also shared some concept art for a Failfolk. We first saw these vegetable friends in Illaoi, though they're nowhere to be found in 2xKO at the moment. And there you have it, every single detail I managed to find in the Alpha Lab. Let me know down below if I missed anything. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.